looks like Sacha Van Estra can have it as we have a yellow flag briefly waved at the end of the field. It looks like Robert Schwarzman is going to lead into the first corner unless Gabriel Aubry tries something on the inside. No, he can't. Robert Schwarzman. And can Sacha Van Estra? No, the Franco-Argentine remains fourth behind Will Palmer. Looks like everybody. Oh, we got a car crossing through. That's Louis Leeds, number 2 from Josef Kaufmann Racing. A couple of other cars who have cut the chicane, but looks like everybody has managed to get through unscathed, which is always a relief here at Monza. And already Sacha Van Estra very threatening in the mirrors of Will Palmer. Sacha Van Estra perhaps slightly disappointed to be only 4th in his first race for his sophomore campaign. Sacha Van Estra was definitely looking for title glory this year. He told us ahead of the season. As you can see, several drivers already battling for position, jostling for position in the pack, and get someone running very wide in there. I think he's spun, and they touch. Contact between an AVF car and an Arden one. Can't see, got gravel all over the place, but looks like surely it's going to be a safety car, or at least full caution. Yeah, safety car deployed, of course. Whereas Alex Perrin tried to move on Sacha Van Estra, but that will he will have to calm down because the safety car has been deployed on the very first lap of the opening race of the Eurocup. Rodrigo Fluker, we can see it on his racing suit, the Peruvian, coming back to Eurocup this year. Looks like he was unharmed, which is always the most important thing, of course. So safety car deployed. Let's have a look. And the second one from Arden Motorsport. I'll try to find his name in a few minutes. Arden Motorsport, who is of course linked to Christian Horner, the team manager of Red Bull Racing, and who is joining Eurocup, Formula Renault Eurocup this year, as the field now whizzes past the commentary booth on the start-finish line. Rico Flicker really having a chat to explain what happened. We saw the AVF car, I think, running really wide and into the gravel, and then spinning, and the rider could not avoid it. I think that's Guilain Cordil, number 34 for Arden Motorsport. Guilain, the Belgian from Other. Here's the replay of what happened, if we can make it out. So that's out of the first Lesmo corner. Actually, I think Flucker ran wide, and then he just lost control and got tagged by Guilain Cordil. Guilain Cordil had no space to go another angle here to see the accident. You can see, yeah, Flucker very wide, too wide. They're making mistakes, and the hapless Guilain Cordil could not avoid tagging along. That's one of the very fast corners here at Monza. Of course, the cathedral of speed with iconic corners such as Lesmo, Ascari, Parabolica. So lucky only 2 cars got involved in that scrap. Safety car now approaching the scene of the incident, of the collision between Flucker and Cordil. We're starting from around the middle of the pack, so always tricky with those Formula Renault car. Of course, when you are 30 in the field and you're in the middle, you can get caught in that kind of incident. So, drivers very careful not to pick up any debris that could result in a puncture. So, very slowly indeed. Yellow flags waved all around, of course. So, and we have here is a replay of the start, and a great launch for Robert Schwarzman, who really managed to get off the grid very cleanly and smoothly. Sacha Van Estra, the Briton, held his ground very firmly. But overall, we saw several drivers crossing the first chicane, but up to that point, there was no damage to any car. Louis Leeds here taking the curb which is quite high and can damage the floor of the car or the wing if you take them at a speed that is not recommended. Here's another replay of the start. It was a very good launch. As you can see, Robert Schwarzman is already disappearing in the distance. It looks like everybody managed to get away cleanly. That was, of course, before, although there was a yellow flag briefly waved at the end of the pack, so maybe one of the back markers, or Yeah, looks like now everybody managed to get away cleanly. On the left of your screen, maybe a tardy launch, but everyone got off eventually. We're already 2 cars down in this opening race of the season, and the clock has not stopped. Here is the running order at the moment. Robert Schwarzman leading from Gabriel Aubry. Will Palmer has kept his 3rd position from a fast starting Sacha Fenestra. Alex Perron is 5th ahead of De Fourny. The first 2 rookies are Yifeye and Max Futrell, who kept their ground at the start. Then it's Enrique Chavez returning for a 2nd campaign in Eurocup. Dan Ticktum, the first of the Red Bull Junior, he is leading his fellow stablemate Neil Verhagen, who had a good start. It's actually Richard Verschow, sorry, because on the time screen Verhagen is VEN, whereas Verschow is VER. So Richard Verschow, who was alongside him on the grid. No intra-Red Bull drama at the start. Not sure Helmut Marko, the head of the Young Driver program, would have really appreciated that 2 of his drivers collided at the very first race of the season. The 2 cars of Guilain Cordil and Rodrigo Pflücker are getting cleared by the flatbed truck. Yellow flags waved all around. And we should be underway in a few laps for the end of the following part of this opening race. So 2 races this weekend. The second one will be tomorrow at 12:40 p.m. local time. Also streamed live as well. We'll be back for commentary. But before we get to that second race, we are itching. We are eager to see some racing here in round 1. We had a great battle shaping up between Fenestra and Palmer for 3rd position. You can see now all the entire field weaving on their way to the Parabolica behind the safety car, trying to bring or to keep their tires into temperature, although they actually only did 1 lap. As you can see on your screen, there will be no further action taken between Rodrigo Pflücker and Guilain Cordil. I assume the race director decided this was a racing accident, with Pflücker running wide on the exit of the first Lesmo, and then getting tagged by the hapless Guilain Cordil, who had basically nowhere to go. Here is another replay of what happened. So Rodrigo Pflücker in the number 14 AVF car, the orange one. You can see runs very wide, then lost control and gets tapped by the number 34 car of Arden Motorsport. That is of Guilain Cordil from Belgium. Maybe carrying too much speed into the first Lesmo, and you don't want to go over the curb because it can be quite treacherous. Thankfully, all the cars behind, some of them had to take evasive action, but looks like everybody else managed to get by unscathed. 16 minutes left in the first race. Was right now the number 12 car of Raúl Guzmán, racing for Irish GP this year. His teammate Robert Schwarzman is currently leading the race. Raúl Guzmán, who comes from Mexico. Plenty of drivers, plenty of nationalities in the Formula Renault Eurocup this year. 15 nationalities, 13 drivers. We've got drivers from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Mexico, from Portugal, from Russia, of course, backed by SMP, a young driver program in Russia. We've got a couple of Chinese racers who've been very competitive. One of them is part of the Renault Sport Academy. His name is Sun Yu Young. He's actually making his car debut this year after shining through the ranks of karting. And the other Renault Junior, are Jarno Hockme, the Dutchman running for MP Motorsport, and Max Futrell, the reigning British F4 champion, racing with number 7, and currently the second best rookie behind Yifeye, who is the reigning French F4 champion. 10 minutes have already elapsed in the very first race of the season, and as you can see on the board, safety car will peel into the pits at the end of this lap, which means we will be back to racing in just a few moments. So stay tuned, keep your eyes, and Robert Schwarzman attacking very early, right before the Parabolica, making sure that he can get away cleanly, and looks like he has managed to put some space in between him and Gabriel Aubry. Let's see, yeah, a very good start from Schwarzman. Was Fenestra is tucked into the rear wing of Will Palmer. Can he make a move at the first corner? Palmer defending the inside. We've got Sasha Fenestra on the outside, behind Dufourny, trying to do the same, and Sasha Fenestra pulling a dummy on the outside. Very brave move, and Sasha Fenestra is through. It looks like Max Dufourny has done the same on Peroni, but from the outside. Brilliant stuff. And now it's wheel to wheel with Dufourny and Peroni on the approach to the second chicane. But what a great move from Fenestra to put himself up to third. Schwarzman leading the race. And now Fenestra has to defend for me, charging Will Palmer on the outside. The Franco-Argentine managed to get to keep the position well. Alex Peroni has reclaimed 5th position ahead of Dufourny. Great battle between these two as well. So we've got a great battle for P3, a great battle for P5, and all the way down the field already jostling for position. And now Dufourny has to keep his eye on his mirror as Yifeye and Max Futrell are charging hard, the two rookies. Ahead, Robert Schwarzman is flying towards the Ascari chicane. Get a bit of a space ahead of Gabriel Aubry. And Sasha Fenestra now attacking his former teammate at Tech 1 Racing. Oh, that was close. But Gabriel Aubry keeps his position at the moment. Can he do it on the approach to Parabolica? And Fenestra is pulling alongside him. Can he keep the inside line and get through? It looks like he will. Yes, he does. Great move by Fenestra, who's getting 2 positions in the space of 1 lap. He's now up to 2nd position, but it looks like he locked up his tire. We'll have to monitor this to make sure that he doesn't get into trouble. It looks like Gabriel Aubry is very feisty behind Fenestra and eager to reclaim 2nd position. Fenestra has to go defensive ahead of Aubry, but he managed to hold his ground. Dufourny still looking for a way past Peroni. In 6th position, the Belgian briefly managed to hoist himself up to P5, but then Peroni strikes back, chasing hard the Australian on the approach to the 2nd chicane. Meanwhile, Paul Sitter, Schwarzman's a bit of a space. Was Dufourny tries on the inside, the 2nd chicane, and that's it. He's through. We're locking up the tires as well. Can Peroni respond? He tries, but Dufourny covers the inside. Great battle through Les Mud at the moment. Be careful not to go too wide. We saw what happened with Rodrigo Pflöcker and Guilain Cordier early on, triggering the safety car period. It looks like Dufourny has put 5th position in his pocket for the moment. They're all rushing towards the Ascari chicane with the very Peroni and Dufourny back at it, really. Just remember, you can't weave to defend your position. You have to be sensible and change your line only once. And I'm sure the race director is keeping an eye on it. Meanwhile, Will Palmer is chasing now Gabriel Aubry. The man on the move is Sasha Fenestra from 4th on the grid. Is now up to 2nd. Was Yifeye comes under pressure from Enrique Chaves. Enrique Chaves, the Portuguese from AVF. By Adrian Valles, a former racing driver, now managing this team very successfully. A couple of wins last year with Harrison Scott. You can see on the start-finish line all trying to take the slipstream and breaking the door, and he dives on the inside, Enrique Chaves. And he threw, the Portuguese through ahead of Yifeye. Enrique Chaves, who is carrying number 13, apparently that's a family story, so he's not afraid of carrying number 13 on his Formula Renault car. And now Yifeye is under pressure from a charging Max Futrell. Can he overtake 2 cars at the same time? The rookie from the UK, Max Futrell on the outside. Oh, so close, but Futrell is through. He has managed to overtake Yifeye. Is now chasing Enrique Chaves. Was in the pack. We've got the 2 of the 3 Red Bull boys battling it out as well. So Chaves, Futrell and Yifeye currently running 7th, 8th and 9th. So in the lower part of the top 10, the points paying positions. And now Yifeye is a replay. Whoa, that's something we missed on the live. Jumping over the curb, car number 21. That's Sun Yu Yang, member of the Renault Sport Academy. As I told you, is making his car debut this season from karting, and he's been learning the hard way so far. He was 26 in qualifying, and now is stop on track, as you can see. So surely the JD Motorsport Enter car parked on track. Surely there will be yellow flags, or at least a safety car. Safety car has been called on track, of course, because Sun is in quite a dangerous spot, and you don't want to take any risks with safety, of course, with these Formula Renault cars. So it looks like we are, the second safety car period, with less than 10 minutes left in the opening round of the season. Here is a quick look at the race order. Schwartzman still leading from pole. Sacha Fenestra, who's going to position from fourth, is now up to second. Gabriel Aubry has slipped down to third. Will Palmer has fallen down to fourth. Max de Fourny has managed to get by Alex Peroni after a heated battle with the Australian. And as you can see, Sun has left his car. That's on the approach to the second chicane. A very dangerous position to be here. So no doubt the safety car was needed. You don't want to be driving flat out and encounter a stationary car here on the approach to the second chicane. Very sensible decision from race control. So a truncated opening round of the season. The previous race was in Estuary last October, so it's been several months since these drivers have been in action. Always a bit eager and over eager at the start of the season. Robert Schwarzman, so the pole sitter, still leading. Interesting stats, 33%. So only a third of previous pole sitters have won here from pole because of the slipstream and the potential incidents that can happen at turn 1. So when you start from pole at Monza, it does not guarantee that you will end up the winner. But so far so good from the young Russian, who's backed by SMP, just like Alexander Vartanyan and Alexei Kornev. SMP very involved in the junior categories with young Russian talent, as the number 21 JD Motorsport car from Sun is being removed from the run to the second chicane. So we should be underway in just a few minutes. Top speed now for this Formula Renault car, just to give you some figures, almost 250 kilometers per hour. 32 gear changes per lap, and the highest G-force is at 2.52. So these teenagers, most of them are teenagers, are top-notch athletes, I'll tell you that. I've met a few of them, and their preparations, their training is as intense as you get. Another lap starting under the safety car regime. That's the second safety car regime, in case you were not with us at the start of the race. We also had a collision between the number 14 of Rodrigo Flucker and the number 34 of Guilain Cordier. They collided on the first Lesmo, triggering the first safety car period. Then we got back underway for a few minutes of racing, and Sun, who flew over the curb at the very first chicane and then stopped on the approach to the second one, caused the second safety car. The sun is still out here in Monza, perfect conditions for racing. The grandstands are filled with families, eager to watch these young talents from the Formula Renault Eurocup. On your screen now is Alex Peroni, who was starting 5th and who's had a tremendous battle with Max de Fourny from RSGP. It looks like Max has the upper end at the moment, although he did lock up his tire when overtaking Alex. So let's see if Max can manage his tires all the way to the checkered flag. The two Red Bull boys, Dan Ticktum and Richard Verschoor. Richard Verschoor won the Spanish F4 and the F4 NEZ for North European Zone last year. A very, very dominant campaign that caught the eye of Red Bull right from the start. And he's been added to their young driver roster. Third Red Bull driver comes from the US. His name is Neil Verhagen, and he won the F1600 series in America. Red Bull and Renault, which both have three young drivers competing in this weekend. Still a safety car out, the lights are still on, so we will go for another lap under these conditions. Schwartzman, of course, still leading. As I said earlier, Schwartzman was racing with Lando Norris. He was a teammate of Lando Norris and Jörn de Hoevela at Josef Kaufmann Racing last year. He's switched to RSGP, a lot of experience on RSGP with Thibaut de Merandol, who's run drivers like Esteban Ocon in previous years. Ocon obviously now a Formula 1 driver for India. And he has for teammate Will Palmer, Max de Fourny and Raul Guzman. So you see a quartet of very talented young men for this season. Josef Kaufmann, who has won several titles in recent years. They were, for instance, running Stoffel van Doorn to the title in 2012. Van Doorn, who beat out Daniel Kvyat, another current F1 driver who's learned the rope in Formula Renault. Around 60% of the current grid have raced and competed in Formula Renault. Even Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Raikkonen at the start of their respective careers, they started in Formula Renault UK. Kimi Raikkonen famously only did 23 races in single seasons before being promoted to Sauber in 2001. And then he went on obviously to become a Formula 1 world champion in 2007. Same for Lewis Hamilton, three-time world champion who started in Formula Renault UK. So a proven breeding ground for young talents. Hence the decision from Red Bull to place three of their protégés in the series. Only 2 minutes left in this first race of the season, round 1 in Monza. We got 10 rounds this year in Eurocup, Formula Renault Eurocup. Iconic places all year long. Silverstone, for instance, Monaco, of course, at the end of May. And the safety car will go in this lap. As you can see, Robert Schwartzman, who really nailed the previous restart, will be looking to do exactly the same, although this time he doesn't have Gabriel Aubry behind. He has Sacha Fenestra, and Sacha Fenestra has been on the move, has been the man on the move during this race, starting from 4th. It looks like Schwartzman trying to do the same, powering through before the start of the Parabolica, but looks like Sacha Fenestra was not caught out, and he's tucked in his rear wing. You can see Schwartzman and Fenestra as they roll past, and Fenestra is drawing alongside on the outside. Can Schwartzman defend his position? We have some battle at the start. Fenestra, Schwartzman keeps the inside. Only just, that was very, very brave from the Franco-Argentine Sacha Fenestra, trying on the outside, knowing that in the second part of the chicane he will have the inside line, but Robert Schwartzman didn't want to have any of that, naturally, and now rushing towards the second chicane. Fenestra looming ever closer in the mirrors of Schwartzman, whereas at the back we have a car hitting the barriers, and surely there will be another safety car because we've got another collision in the background and a car in the gravel. Dust kicked up in the air, so we can't really identify. Looks like it's one of the Red Bull drivers, number 31. That's Neil Verhagen, the US racer, and the race had been red flagged. So very truncated first race of the season. Red flag is out as the clock ticks down to 0, which means Robert Schwartzman will start the season with a win, but in quite bizarre circumstances. 2 safety car periods and a red flag to end the race. Yeah, Neil Verhagen in the gravel trap. Looks like he's okay, which is always the most important thing. Placing back the steering wheel in his number 31 cars. Here is a replay of what happened in the back. Yeah, he was battling for position and maybe a bit pushed, you know, on the outside, triggering the race-ending red flag. Right on the first lap of the second restart. There will be no restart, and all cars have to head to Parc Fermé, which means that Robert Schwartzman from Russia wins the opening race of the season opener in Formula Renault Eurocup. Robert Schwartzman from RSGP, the number 10, one of the 3 Russian drivers backed by S&P, starting from pole. As you can see, the cars entering the pit lane and heading to Parc Fermé. Here are the top 3. Robert Schwartzman, I'm sure he won't mind winning the race in rather bizarre conditions. That's his first win in Eurocup. He already won in NEC, but Eurocup, that's his very first win. The young Russian with the very easy to distinguish helmet, the golden helmet. Congratulating Sasha Fenestra. Sasha Fenestra, who starting from 4th, almost won the race, and I'm sure he will have tried another move or two had he had some more time. The Parc Fermé before the podium celebrations. Schwartzman congratulated by RHGP.
You was shit this race, stopping every time. Red flag.
Apologies for the language from Sasha Fenestra. I would say, you know, summarizing the conditions, start and stop, truncated sessions, definitely.
Good job, man. Mate, I did 2 cars. Sorry? I did Corona on the outside for 6, and then...
We'll try to have a word with Robert in a few minutes. We are pit interviewer. If we can get hold of him, I'm sure we'll be delighted to claim that first win of the season. Quite a useful looking lad, that Robert Schwartzman. But
you ready? Yeah.
already 1 year of experience.
Yeah.
And we have with Sasha Fenestra actually the first interviewee, 2nd place.
T'es quand, Gabi?
Well, that was absolutely great. Well done. Some good defending there at the end. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was quite hard. I think we've done like 5 laps at the beginning. I wasn't thinking to finish 2nd, so yeah. It's a shame to have the red flags, but I think the car was very fast, and he'd done an amazing job. So yeah, next race, hopefully it will be for me.
Well, it's always a shame to finish under a red flag, but hopefully the driver's okay, and that's all that matters. So congratulations. Go collect your trophy.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
That was Sasha Fenestra with Dakota in the Parc Fermé. Sasha Fenestra only 2nd behind Robert Schwartzman. They will be accompanied on the podium, the iconic Monza podium that you can see on your screen, by fellow Frenchman for Fenestra, fellow Frenchman Gabriel Aubry. The 2 of them used to be teammates at Tech 1 Racing last year, and Fenestra, who is definitely gunning for title glory this year, has decided to join the reigning teams champion Josef Kaufmann Racing, who raced Lando Norris to the 2016 Eurocup title. So drivers will make their way up the stairs and to the famous Monza podium overlooking the start-finish line. Here is the results of confirmation that Robert Schwartzman wins the first race of the season ahead of Fenestra. Aubry is 3rd. Palmer loses out and is only 4th. Defourny managed to overtake Peroni for 5th. Peroni hence is 6th. Enrique Chavez, a good recovery for the Portuguese, 7th. Max Futrell is the first of the rookie in his battle with Yifeye, who is 9th. Richard Verschoor collects the final point on offer and is the first Red Bull Junior in the classification, ahead of Daniel Tichtum. Grégoire Saucy is 12th. That's the following page of the classification. All the favorites and the pre-season favorites returning for a 2nd year are among the front runners. No major disappointment so far. Fenestra, Defourny, Schwartzman and Palmer all were expected to perform well right from the start, having already 1 year or more of experience under their belt. 3 retirement. Rodrigo Pflücker and Guilain Cordial collided at the start of the race, triggering the first safety car period. Julia Pankiewicz did not start the race. She had some trouble on her way to the grid, whereas 27th is Yu Sang-yoon, who triggered the second safety car period after jumping over the curbs at the first chicane. So Robert Schwarzman, of course, the early championship leader with this win. But we'll see tomorrow for race 2, which starts at 12:40 p.m. local time, whether the young Russian can keep the championship lead. I'm sure that Sasha Fenestra will be very keen indeed to claim the top spot and leave the outskirts of Milan as the early championship leader in order to set the tone for his 2017 campaign. Formula Renault Eurocup, which is a support race to the Blancpain GT Series this weekend at Monza. And here are some highlights from the race, and a great start from Robert Schwarzman, pulling away from pole position nicely. Sasha Fenestra already in the attack on Will Palmer for P3. Everything started pretty smoothly at the start, even though some cars crossed the first chicane. Some of them went straight, but at least there was no damage yet. Here's Luis Lead, the number 2 car, Josef Kaufmann Racing, and the other cars cutting through. But then it started getting a bit tricky between Rodrigo Pflücker and Guilain Cordial, colliding on the outside of Lesmo, triggering the first safety car period. Then we had a restart and the start of the battle between Max De Fourny and Alex Peroni, really almost touching wheels at the first chicane. De Fourny reclaiming the position for good and ended up P5 in the end. Here they are on their way to the very fast acceleration. Here's a replay of Sun almost jumping over Alexis Kornev, second safety car after he parked his car on the approach to the second chicane, and barely had the race restarted that we will encounter a race-ending red flag. Great defending here from Robert Schwarzman, which secured him the win. Otherwise, Sasha Fenestra could have claimed it, although with the red flag, the classification from the previous lap would have been taken, so Robert Schwarzman could have been safe. But that's how the first race of the season ended. And the red flag, as the podium ceremony is about to start, you can see, if my eyesight is good, Laurent Gaudin, who is the head of the Endurance Cup for Blancpain GT Series, here to award the trophies. And we're waiting for the drivers. They'll be on the rostrum very shortly for the first ceremony of the season. Here is Gabriel Aubry, very nice Frenchman, making a return with Tech 1 Racing this year for his second Eurocup campaign. He used to race a very funky purple livery, but now he's a bit more corporate. Here he is, a bit more Tech 1. Gabriel Aubry third, Sasha Fenestra second. He will be happy, as you can see, starting from fourth. And the race 1 winner, the very first winner of the season, Robert Schwarzman for RHGP, starting from pole position. Congratulated, of course, by, you can see Jonathan Palmer as well on the left-hand side. We will have the national anthem in a few moments. Jean-Pascal Dos as well on the podium. We will have the national anthem of Russia. As you can see, the top 3 finishers have been joined on the podium by the best rookie, who's Max Futrell, one of the 3 members of the Renault Sport Academy racing in Formula Renault Eurocup this weekend. You can see him with his Renault F1 inspired overalls. Here's the trophy handed to Gabriel Aubry, third place man. Very happy indeed, Gabriel. Jean-Pascal Dos awarding the trophy to Sacha Fenestra for second positions. And then we will have the winner's trophy handed out by Laurent Gaudin, Blancpain GD Series Endurance Cup manager. There you go. Let's see, he's on the first step of the podium. Robert Schwarzman, your first race winner in 2017 Formula Renault Eurocup. It's his first win in Eurocup, although he had some success in NEC last year. So the potential and the talent have been there, and he's delivered in a rather bizarre race. But still counts, and Max Futrell, the leading rookie, finishing P8 for Tech 1 Racing in the number 7 car. Jonathan Palmer also on the left of your screen, looking for someone to hand out the trophy, maybe the winning team. Anyone eager, keen to have the trophy? I don't know what's happening. Or maybe he can keep it and give it to Will as a consolation prize. And here is the celebrations after the opening round, the opening race of the season in Formula Renault Eurocup. Sacha Fenestra, Gabriel Aubry and Robert Schwarzman spraying the bubbles on the podium. Very friendly atmosphere in the Formula Renault paddock. As you can see, these guys race hard on track, but they are friendly to each other off it, most of the time, of course. Official picture to wrap up the proceedings of the podium ceremony for race 1. Race 2, reminder, save the dead. So race 2 will be tomorrow here at Monza, 12:40 p.m. So we will be back with live streaming and live commentary as well. Thank you so much for following us this opening round here in Monza. We'll be back and see you tomorrow.